This is Abigail Northrup reporting from the Lobby Observer. As spring approaches, many students may be noticing a higher workload and a bit more stress. For sophomores, some of the stress comes from MCAS. We sat down with WHS psychology teacher Mr. Cullen to talk about how standardized testing impacts students' mental health. Here's Bom Fim with Mr. Cullen.
This is Bom Fim reporting from the Lobby, and today I'm here with Mrs. Cullen. How are we doing today?
Good, how are you doing?
Got a couple questions for him, and yep, stay tuned for that. So, Mr. Cullen, do you think that standardized testing impacts the students' mental health?
I think depending on the student, it definitely can affect their mental health. If students don't feel confident in their ability to take a standardized test, then definitely I think that could lead people to be more anxious about these tests. Also, possibly a little more depressed when they get their results back.
Definitely. And do you also think that standardized testing is beneficial to our curriculum?
I think there's always the conversation about a standard, and so you folks come to school every day, and we want to make sure that you are getting to a point, like a level, where you'll be successful going out in the world. And a lot of people have different conversations about what that looks like. So should it be like a project? Should you hit a score? Those kinds of topics. So I think there can be conversations about getting a certain test grade, and because that knowledge is important. I mean, when I go to the doctors, I want to make sure that my doctors pass the boards.
Definitely.
And that may have been stressful for them to pass the boards, but I want that stress because they're either going to be operating on me or giving me some prescription drugs or something like that, and I want them to have that certain level. So I think we should expect that also out of teachers, right? So teachers should, and we do go through a standardized test to become a teacher to make sure that we know what we're talking about before we get in front of students. So there is an argument that it does have its place. I think that the debate is the weight, right? So we can get that data to say maybe you do know a lot about, say, math or not so much about math, but will that keep you from graduating, or will that keep you from proceeding to the next grade or something?
Right. Yeah.
So the conversation, I think, tends to be how much do we value these tests? Not do we have these tests or not, but how much do we value them in the high school career? That's a big debate.
Yeah. And do you think it depends also on what the student want to pursue in the future?
Sure. Yeah. And if the student wants to pursue, say they want to become an electrician, okay?
Right.
They need to pass their electrician's test. Even if they want to become a barber. So my boy Leo he's got to go through a barber's test, right?
King Shop.
Yeah, King's Corner.
You get me right too.
Leo, yeah. Promo. But he's got to go through his barber's test,
right?
Because he has to be able to operate a single screw blade and make sure he doesn't cut anybody. He's got to pass something.
Right. Be qualified.
Be qualified for it. So the conversation is, what do you need to be qualified just to even get out of high school?
Yeah.
And so that conversation is usually something around, we need some language skills, we need some math skills, we need some, in my opinion, some civic skills.
Definitely.
Understand how the world works. That becomes a big conversation. And I know a lot of people have more input on that. Like, say, a lot of people would also say students need personal finance skills before they leave. They want them to speak more than one language before they leave. Like, there's a lot that goes in that conversation. So when we only test for like math and English, people can get a little kind of on that, because sometimes that doesn't represent the whole student.
Right.
In standardized testing.
Definitely. So what are the ways that students can prepare for a test that are impactful and stress-free?
So I think we got to look at stress-free, because there are a few activities in our lives that are non-stress free.
Right.
But what we have two kinds of stress, right? We have distress and eustress. And distress is the bad stress. You just worry about stuff all the time. You're worried and worried. And that's not productive stress. But eustress is a good stress. Like, you know, a test is coming up, you got something to do, okay, ooh, I'm feeling stressed, I'm gonna start reviewing, I'm gonna get into my book, I'm gonna reread that section, maybe I may do like a Kahoot online, maybe I watch that crash course over again. So there's some methodology, but that pushing is sometimes a good stress to get you to do something.
Right.
Because hopefully when you accomplish that goal, it leads you to something that's maybe a little further on down your path that you actually want to do in life. The issue obviously becomes if you're thinking about it like, well, I don't want to do this in life, I don't really care about it, I'm not going to study for the test. That's where you start to have that kind of impact.
Yeah.
So it's really tough, I would say, to study for a test if you're not interested in it or you're not interested in the outcome. So my first thing was, whenever you study for a test, about why am I studying for this test? Like, what am I going to get out of it? What is that overarching goal? And once I have that kind of overarching goal, I can go, okay, I got my why. Now I can go and work on the how. And the how is going to be different for everybody. So, for instance, I like to look at visuals. I like to hear people speak a lot.
Yep.
I can reread the stuff, and that sometimes does all right. But I read it first, and I try to take really good notes. And when I take notes and I write it down myself, that helps me process. But I just like to hear people because I'm more of an auditory learner. So when I hear people speak, it kind of sticks in my head a little more. And sometimes when I'm writing, sometimes the reading can just kind of all blur up after a while. I'm like, and that's where I can lose focus. But if I hear someone speaking, they're speaking for 20 or 30 minutes, I can lock in, and I internalize all that. So that's for me very helpful. I know other students got great photographic memories, so they can read something on a page, they lock that in, and come test time, they're able to do very, very well.
Yep. I can say for myself and maybe other students that think having a conversation on a topic with the teacher in just the class definitely makes it stick more in your brain.
Oh yeah, you have that discussion.
For sure. And a follow-up question that I would like to ask is, do you think it's beneficial for students to put themselves in stress and to come out as a better person and grow as an individual? Do you think you have to put yourself in stress for that to happen?
So you're talking a little bit of stress training, what that looks like.
The good stress, the used stress.
So I think it's helpful to have graduated challenges and to view them as such going forward. To be like, listen, we either win or we learn. That's the philosophy that we go through.
Right.
And so we're gonna go through. We're gonna challenge this, and maybe this challenge is a little too difficult at this point in time. We're gonna come back and we're gonna revisit it again. But I would stress, and this is some of that psych stuff that we also talk about in class, is that there are tasks for students, in my opinion, that are too much for them at 17, 18 years old. And that's fine, right? There was too much for me at 25, 26. There was too much for me at 34, 35 that I wasn't ready to handle yet, that I could handle later on, because I built those incremental skills going up.
Kind of pushing to the edge.
Yeah, we don't even have to say edge, because edge always implies I'm going to have this feeling I'm always going to fall off,
right.
And that can be stressful in itself. But I'm getting the skills to climb a little further, and so that to me is a little more helpful when I think about I'm building those skills, and so that can be helpful with a test. When you folks start out with the little MCAS test, and you do all right in 3rd grade, 5th grade, and whatnot, and then by the time you get to an SAT, you've taken a whole bunch of standardized tests. So it may not be that difficult for you at that point. You don't get as stressed out because you're like, oh my gosh, a bubble exam, how do I do this?
You're already used to it.
Yeah, you're used to it, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Cullen, for talking
Thank
to
you,
us,
folks.
explaining your mind and everything. This is
Thank
Eddie Bom Fim reporting from the LaBiel.
Thank you, Eddie. It's really interesting to hear another perspective on the benefits and downsides of standardized testing. MCAS isn't the only thing that's come up as we reach the warmer months of the year. There are some exciting things happening too. Uhlman's ice cream has opened for the spring, summer, and fall, and people are very excited. Here's Meredith Swanson talking to customers about their favorite flavors and why they love Uhlman so much.
Hi, this is Meredith Swanson reporting for the Lobby Observer. What is your name and favorite ice cream flavor?
My name's Tyler. My favorite ice cream flavor is black raspberry.
What is your name and why are you excited for Uhlman's to be opening for this summer and spring?
My name is Sam and I'm excited because I love Uhlman so much. It has really good ice cream and I like to go there with my friends.
Nice. Hi, what is your name and your favorite ice cream flavor?
I'm Kayla, and my favorite ice cream flavor is black raspberry.
Perfect. Hi, what's your name and what are you eating?
Hi, I'm Plum and I got green tea ice cream.
Oh, is that a new flavor?
I don't know, maybe.
It looks very interesting.
Thank you, Mary. It's so nice to see so many happy customers. While the upcoming Math and Science MCAS may be a bit nerve-wracking for sophomores, there's plenty to look forward to as well. Make sure to stop by Uhlman's when you get the chance. Maybe it will brighten your day. This has been Abby Northrup reporting for the Lobby Observer from Studio 33 at Westborough TV.